Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. In this one, I'll be doing another walkthrough, but instead of my yak, it'll be my entire 2024 rod and reel arsenal, as well as the line that I use on there and the techniques that I throw and the reasons why. Some of these rods are technique specific, but there are some that have multiple purposes, and I'll break those down for you guys as well. If there's anything that you guys see throughout the entire walkthrough that you guys want to pick up yourselves, I'll make sure to leave links in the description box down below, so feel free to check those out. Anyways guys, without further ado, let's jump right into this one. First up, we have a Shimano SLX Swimbait Rod. I have it paired up with a Cadence CB8 and 25-pound P-line tactical fluorocarbon. It's a 7:3-to-1 gear ratio, so it's a little bit faster than I'd like, but it just works out perfectly because I do throw A-rigs, swim baits, and glide baits on this rod. That's what it's rated for. It can throw 2 to 8 ounces, as well as it has a full EVA foam handle, so allowing you to use 2 full hands when you're fighting big fish or when you're throwing big baits. This is the perfect setup, in my personal opinion, for someone that's looking for an entry-level rod into swim baiting, glide baiting, or just looking for a big A-rig rod. This right here can do it all in my personal opinion, so I definitely recommend you guys check this one out. Stepping down a size, we have the Lose Laser SG1 Speed Stick. This is a 7.4 heavy and a moderate fast action, so it has a bit more parabolic bend, works really good with treble hook baits, so for example flutter spoons, deep diving crankbaits like DT16s, and also I use it on my smaller swim baits like mag drafts and stuff like that. For the reel, it's just a Lose Laser MG in a 7:5-to-1 gear ratio, and then for the line I have it paired up with 20-pound Guggen Squad fluorocarbon, so really nothing crazy, just a little bit of a lighter swim bait setup. Instead of the 25-pound, I can go down to the 20-pound without having to lose too much power. And then going down just 1 inch, we have the Duckett Silverado. This right here is a 7.3 heavy fast, perfect for flipping and pitching and topwater frogging or topwater spook baits or really big prop baits. I have it paired up with 65-pound Suffix Advanced Sprayed, and for the reel it's just an Abu Garcia Max STX. So pretty quality stuff right here. It has a flip and switch, so I really like doing like flipping techniques. Like I said, I'll flip and pitch heavy cover, and because of that flip and switch, it pretty much allows it to just self-release the moment I let go. So I can flip, make my cast as soon as it lands and hits where I want it to, let it go, and then boom, it's gonna immediately release, and I can fight fish. I just think that maybe it's a little bit faster, more efficient. I don't know. You guys are gonna have to pick one up and try it yourself and let me know what you guys think. But the 7.3 Silverado is pretty sweet. One major thing to note about a Silverado is that it does have a lot of tip action, so it kind of helps you whip casts out there, and it works really good with like treble hook baits and stuff like that, but I do wish it was a little bit stiffer when I'm frogging and flipping and pitching. There's some give and take there, but with all that being said, it's still held up just fine, so definitely recommend picking one of these up if you're in the market for a quick and affordable rod. Next up, we got the 13 Fishing 7.3 medium heavy blackout rod. This right here is perfect for chatterbaits, spinner baits, and Texas rigs, everything that's pretty much like a 1/2 ounce to a 3/4 ounce. This is what I throw it on right here. Or if I'm fishing on a boat, I feel like the 7.3 medium heavy just allows me to get further casts, have a little bit more control over fish whenever I'm fighting them and stuff like that, you know, a little bit more tips. So yeah, I mean, it's just a personal preference, but I definitely recommend having some sort of a 7.3 medium heavy in your lineup. And for the reel setup, it's a Cadence Essence 6.6 gear ratio with 17-pound Berkeley Vanish fluorocarbon on there. The reason why I go with the 6.6 is it helps me just kind of keep things a little bit slower, so I can slow roll a spinnerbait, slow roll a chatterbait, or even just like working a Texas rig and stuff like that. But yeah, if you don't have a 7.3, I definitely recommend it. Alright, moving on from the big rods and jumping into the 7-foot medium heavies, I have the Akuma Apixer right here with an Akuma halogen reel, 6.5 gear ratio, and for the line it's 12-pound Berkeley Vanish. This right here is my crankbait setup, as well as I'll throw these kind of swim baits on there, so here I'll show you. Any sort of swim bait, I really like to throw it on this rod. I'm not really sure why. Maybe because it's that full cork handle, which I'm not sure if you guys saw that, but yeah, this right here is probably my favorite, just having a full cork handle, the sensitivity, the power, the control you have over fish. It's all there, it's everything you'd want. So this thing can throw pretty much everything, but I do like to throw it on crankbaits and swim baits like that because I feel like there's a lot of tip action there. So when I'm throwing out crankbaits, it really just kind of deflects off a cover and bounces back with a lot of lifelike action. So yeah, this is a bit more technique specific, mainly going to be throwing crankbaits on there and then smaller swim baits. This is another 7-footer. It's a medium heavy as well. It's an Abu Garcia Vengeance Pro Series. I got it paired up with a Lose LFS Speed Spool, 7.5-to-1 gear ratio, so it's pretty quick. Helps me get the line in whenever I'm fishing a topwater bait, which is what I like to throw on it, as you can see here. I just like to throw frogs on it mainly. I like to throw buzz baits as well. So single hook baits and double hook baits, as well as like if you've ever fished like a Stanley toad or a topwater toad, a buzzing toad, even like a Zoom horny toad, I can throw them on this rod right here. It's perfect. So A lot of people like to frog with something heavier. I personally like to throw a frog on a medium heavy. It just allows me to get those casts where I really want them, as well as my arm isn't tired by the end of the day. So yeah, if I need to, I will step up to the ducket that has 65-pound braid on it, and I'll frog and flip and pitch with him as well. So kind of just having the best of both worlds, something a little bit lighter, more finesse, also perfect around a pond. Like, I don't feel like I need to throw a heavy on a frog in a pond unless it's just completely matted up, which is never really the case. I will say this, out of every rod and reel out of my lineup, if I had to pick one to go anywhere, it'd probably be this one, because it does have braid, so I could just tie a leader to it if necessary. But beyond that, it's rated for saltwater. So the reel and the rod have worked perfectly in saltwater for me. That's pretty much what it's made for. It's a Luz inshore speed spool. Really nice quality stuff there, made by Luz, and also Abu Garcia. I love them both. I can't pick. And lastly, for the 7-foot medium heavy lineup, we have the Shimano Caius, which this is a complete combo that I purchased. All I did was put 14-pound Berkeley Vanish fluorocarbon on there, and I've caught so many big fish with this. I don't know why, but it's just my go-to rod. I don't know if you guys have a rod that you just see every time and you just kind of grab and go with, but yeah, this is that one for me. So I don't know what it is. It's not anything special. It's not anything crazy. It's just really that one go-to rod. Like 14-pound fluorocarbon feels like the sweet spot for me with every bait. I feel like I can throw a spinnerbait, a chatterbait, a Texas rig, a jig. Pretty much everything can go on 14-pound fluorocarbon in my personal opinion. So yeah, this guy right here is my go-to. But with this rod and the rod I just showed earlier, I can pretty much do every kind of technique that I want. Alright, next we're going to get into some expensive stuff. This is a Shimano Corrado DC paired up with a Shimano Corrado rod. It's a 610 medium heavy. Now because it's a DC, I can pretty much do whatever I want with this setup. So I put 10-pound Berkeley Vanish fluorocarbon on there. I can throw a Wacky rig, I can throw a Finesse 1.0 square bow crankbait. I can even throw these Finesse spinner baits that, here I'll show you. Stuff like this. It's literally just a 3/16 ounce spinner bait, and I'm throwing it on a bait caster. So yeah, because of the DC and the 10-pound fluorocarbon, I'm pretty much using it like a BFS setup, but I could really do whatever I wanted with it. Moving on to another technique specific rod. This is an Abu Garcia Vengeance 6'9" medium heavy. Got it paired up with an Abu Garcia Max STX, the reel that you saw before, and for the line it's 30-pound Seaguard Tactics braid. And the main reason I have this rod is for topwater walking baits, as you see here. I feel like the length of the rod really helps me impart the action that I'm looking for, but beyond that, it can throw smaller topwater prop baits and then frogs, and I will finesse flip and pitch on it from time to time because it does have that flip and switch. So yeah, huge plus there. I definitely recommend going with a shorter rod if you're having trouble walking the dog. At the end of the day, you should go with whatever you feel comfortable with, but for me, a 6'9" is really just the sweet spot. And yeah, I think it kind of helps whenever I'm trying to work a topwater bait. Alright, this is a combo that I get a lot of questions on my channel asking me what it is. It's a St. Croix Mojo Bass 6'8" medium heavy with a Daiwa Chachula SV TWS 8:3-to-1 gear ratio. I have it paired up with 15-pound Berkeley 100% fluorocarbon, and this is the best rod I have in my entire lineup personally. This rod is mainly used for jigging and skipping, and I can pretty much put a jig wherever I want with this rod, like in the back of a dock, but from time to time I will throw a Texas rig on there, like a creature bait, a craw, a lizard, a beaver, or something like that, and just flip and pitch him and skip him under cover, docks, areas that I normally wouldn't be able to with any one of these rods. Alright, moving into my spinning rod setups, we have a Shimano Symmetry paired up with 15-pound braid and then an 8-pound fluorocarbon leader. I personally like to throw a Neko rig, Wacky rig, and Shaky head on this rod. And then stepping down a size, I have a medium. They tried to attack me. They failed. It's fine, everything's fine, I'm fine. Just keep swimming, just keep swimming. Alright, hopefully that does not happen on us again. Next up for the spinning combos, we have a Guggen Squad Green Series 6'10" medium moderate rod paired up with a Guggen Squad Green Series reel. I'm not going to go too much in depth on this because I'm going to have a full video coming out on my channel, so if y'all are interested in checking that out, be on the lookout for it. But I will say this, I've been throwing a Ned Rig around on him and catching like 4-pounders, 3-pounders, 2-pounders, you name it. So, but yeah, I'm a bit of a fan so far. I don't want to go too much in detail, I'll save that for the video. Alright, next up, going to my popper setup. This is a 6'6" medium Luz Classic speed stick. I have it paired up with a Cadence Essence 7:3-to-1 gear ratio, so helps me pick up that line. Whenever I'm fishing a topwater, I really like to have some sort of a faster gear ratio, and then whenever I'm fishing a jig. So if I'm fishing topwater, if I'm fishing bottom water, I really like to be able to pick up that line quickly, not let them run into cover and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a big plus there. Having a faster reel helps me pick up slack whenever I'm fishing like a topwater popper, for example, and it just really makes me more efficient on the water. But yeah, I definitely recommend having some sort of a finesse bait caster to throw lighter baits, topwater poppers, jerk baits, all that good stuff. Lastly, for spinning rods, we have the Lewis Xfinity XJ Speed Stick. It's a really nice finesse combo. It's a medium light 6 foot, nothing too crazy, but all I throw on it is a drop shot like year round, and I feel like because it's shorter, I can kind of get those pocket casts throwing a drop shot around, because if you're familiar with throwing a drop shot, it does feel a bit awkward when you cast it around. And yeah, also the sensitivity on it is great. And if you're wondering if it can catch big fish, yes, this rod has actually caught me almost more fish than all of these rods combined, if I'm being honest. This little finesse combo is just so good at detecting bites that you really don't miss them, right? Like, you feel them and you just immediately set the hook. And then being 10-pound braid, like, I'm pretty much feeling every pebble at the bottom. I definitely recommend having some sort of a finesse combo like this whenever the bite's getting tough, they're kind of being line shy, etc. So you can really do a lot with this. And lastly, we have our finesse combo for trout, panfish, and crappie, all that good stuff. It's just a Berkeley Cherrywood HD with an old school Shakespeare. I have it paired up with 6-pound mono. I will drop down to 4 if I have to, but for the most part, this gets it done for me whenever I'm going to rivers, creeks, ponds, all that good stuff. And yeah, there's really no complaints from me. Full core candle, gotta love that. And then I got it paired up with just a small little red worm hook. So the red on red, I love it, man. You look good, you feel good, you catch fish, right? I don't know. That might not be a thing, but it definitely feels like a thing. Also, it's a 2-piece rod, so I can break it down, throw it in my backpack, throw it in the back of a truck, whatever I need to do, and it fits just fine. Lastly, on the wall, I don't know if y'all noticed, but there's a couple rods that I like to keep as extra backups in case I break a rod or somebody needs one. It's a 6'10" medium, and then it's a 7-foot medium, and they're both just spinning rods because I have way too many bait casters. I need to get some more spinning combos. Well, that about does it for this walkthrough. Thank you guys for watching this video. If there's anything that you saw that you're interested in picking up yourself, like I said, the links will be in the description box down below. If there's anything that you think I should pick up, or if there's anything that you'd like to talk about further in depth, feel free to leave me a comment down below and I'll make sure to get back to you as quickly as I can. Thank you guys for watching this one, and until next time, stay cool and happy fishing.